Here are the crypto top headlines covered in this video. SEC approves highly anticipated Bitcoin ETFs in historic move, creating first ever pipeline between Wall Street and crypto. Next, Ripple Labs to buy back $285 million stake in tender offer. Also, spot Ethereum ETFs now have a straight shot for approval. Welcome to Crypto Top Headlines, where there's no clickbait thumbnails or titles, and no speeches on my opinions, just bringing crypto's news to you. We are a new channel here on YouTube, and would greatly appreciate it if you would click on the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell. It does help support the channel, so thank you in advance for doing so. Now, on to these headlines. Our first top headline: SEC approves highly anticipated Bitcoin ETFs in historic move, creating first ever pipeline between Wall Street and crypto. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has approved several spot Bitcoin ETFs in a historic move that creates a monetary pipeline between Wall Street and the king of cryptocurrency. The announcement comes amid a volatile day for BTC, which is trading at $45,937 at time of publishing, down 0.9% in the last 24 hours. The SEC's move marks the end of a years-long push to legitimize Bitcoin in America and create a safe, secure, and regulatory compliant way for investors with large amounts of capital to gain exposure to BTC. The SEC has approved all 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs that were under consideration, including BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, VanEck, Bitwise, Franklin, Valkyrie, Hashdex, ARK Invest, WisdomTree, and Invesco Galaxy. Exchange-traded funds track the performance of a particular asset or group of assets and are traded on the stock market, and all of the approved spot Bitcoin ETFs require fund managers to hold physical BTC. Once the ETFs are live, which is likely imminent, investors will be able to easily buy shares to gain exposure to Bitcoin's price movements without having to worry about buying Bitcoin directly. Bitcoin ETF applicants worked with the SEC for months to refine their proposals. Late last month, the applicants essentially caved to the SEC's demand to make their ETFs utilize cash creations and redemptions. Cash redemptions require the fund manager to sell physical Bitcoin in order to distribute cash to shareholders, creating taxable transactions. The SEC rejected spot Bitcoin ETF applications for years while approving Bitcoin futures ETFs that are relatively similar in structure. But that backfired in August when the DC Circuit Court of Appeals ruled the SEC behaved in an arbitrary and capricious fashion when it rejected Grayscale's application to convert its Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, or GBTC, into a spot ETF. The court said the federal agencies must treat like cases alike, a ruling that paved the way for today's approvals. Our next top headline: Ripple Labs to buy back $285 million stake in tender offer, says report. Ripple Labs is going through a tender offer to give early investors an exit route rather than a public offering. The transaction is expected to place the company's valuation at $11.3 billion. Ripple Labs is planning a tender offer to buy back a $285 million stake in the company from early investors and employees, according to a Reuters report citing sources familiar with the matter. A Ripple spokesperson confirmed the transaction to Cointelegraph. Ripple plans to spend a total of $500 million in the process. The budget includes the cost of converting restricted stock units to common shares. According to Reuters, investors will only be able to sell 6% of their holdings. The transaction will place the company's valuation at $11.3 billion. As per Ripple's profile on Crunchbase, it has raised a total of $293.8 million in funding over 14 rounds since 2015. The company now holds more than $25 billion worth of crypto, mainly in XRP, and has over $1 billion in cash on its balance sheet, said CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Additional buybacks are anticipated as Ripple aims to provide an exit for early investors. According to Garlinghouse, the company has no plans to go public anytime soon in the United States, where it is based, due to the country's uncertain regulatory environment. Ripple's buyback strategy offers an alternative exit route for early investors, diverging from the more traditional path of going public. In other words, the approach will allow investors to cash out their investments instead of going to the typical liquidity event known as an initial public offering or IPO. By choosing a buyback over an IPO, Ripple retains greater control and flexibility over its business. In a public offering, the company would have to deal with additional regulatory requirements, market volatility, and managing investor expectations. A buyback, on the other hand, enables Ripple to manage its investor relations without the complexities that come with being a publicly traded firm. Growing in the headwinds of the SEC lawsuit was certainly a challenge, but 95% of our customers are non-U.S. financial institutions, Garlinghouse told Reuters. Ripple Labs is the technology company behind the Ripple payment protocol and the XRP token. The company has been embroiled in a lawsuit with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission since December 2020, alleging that it conducted an unregistered securities offering through the sale of XRP. The case saw a significant turning point in July 2023 when Judge Annalisa Torres partially ruled in favor of the company by saying that XRP is not a security in relation to its programmatic sales on exchanges. However, the court found that XRP was a security when sold to institutional investors via funding rounds. According to Cointelegraph's market data, XRP trades at 56 cents at the time of writing with a market capitalization of $30.7 billion. Let me pause here for a moment. If you're getting value out of this video, please click on the like and subscribe buttons as well as the notification bell. Our next top headline, spot Ethereum ETFs now have a straight shot for approval, says analysts. Industry pundits believe spot Ethereum ETFs have a clear path to approval in 2024, with one predicting trading to begin as early as the second quarter. With 11 spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds approved on January 10th, spot Ether ETFs should have a clear path to approval in 2024, and one analyst is even tipping a 70% chance of approval by May. Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas previously told Cointelegraph he couldn't see a scenario where spot Bitcoin ETFs are approved but spot Ether ETFs aren't. The Ether spot is tied to the hip of Bitcoin spot for sure. It's gonna go wherever it goes. It's basically like on a 15-foot rope following it. Balchunas also noted he had heard on the back channels that spot Ether ETFs will be fine. Will Clemente tweeted, "New deadline to obsess over just dropped. May 23rd is the final deadline for decision on Van Eck's spot ETH ETF." Meanwhile, digital asset lawyer Joe Carlosser has also tipped for spot Ether ETFs to be approved this year, but believes it will take a bit longer than folks expect. Ethereum spot ETFs will be approved, but the SEC will try to carefully craft a precedent that permits them to retain some discretion in determining which digital asset ETFs will be permitted to come to market. But put another way, I think the SEC is trying to provide guidance that would deter applicants from filing ETFs for every major token, Carlosser added. Balchunas said he estimates a 70% chance that spot ETH ETFs will be approved by May, which is the month the SEC must make a final decision for several applications, though he said the timing for launch was less clear. The price of Ether spiked around 3% after the approvals, reaching over $2,500, the first time since May 2022. Ether is trading at $2,533 at the time of publication, up 7% in the past 24 hours. Carlos Ayer believes that spot ETH ETFs won't start trading until the third quarter of 2024, while one of the spot Ether ETF applicants, Hashdex, recently tipped the Ether products to begin trading as early as the second quarter. Prior to the SEC's spot Bitcoin approval, Valkyrie Fund's Chief Investment Officer, Stephen McClurg, said he wouldn't be surprised if spot Ether and XRP ETFs come to market after Bitcoin. Fellow Bloomberg ETF analyst James Seifert is also confident that the SEC will give the green light to spot Ether ETFs because the SEC implicitly accepted Ether as a commodity when it approved Ether futures ETFs in September. By approving those Ethereum futures ETFs, they are implicitly accepting those Ethereum futures as commodities futures, Seifert said during CryptoQuant's private webinar on January 4th. BlackRock, VanEck, ARK21 Shares, Fidelity, and Invesco Galaxy, Grayscale, and Hashdex are among the spot Ether ETF applicants vying for SEC approval. The SEC must decide on VanEck's application by May 23rd, ARK21 Shares by May 24th, Hashdex by May 30th, Grayscale by June 18th, and Invesco by July 5th. Fidelity and BlackRock's applications must be decided by August 3rd and August 7th. So this concludes our top headlines. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to click on the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell. Also, leave your thoughts in the comments and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you all for watching Crypto Top Headlines, bringing crypto's news to you.